Hi, I'm Philip Carr-Gomm, and this is This Magical Life, your guide to the intersection of psychology, spirituality, and wisdom.
Hello, it's lovely to have you here. Welcome, everybody. Do gather round. So what I wanted to talk about, to take as our topic to explore today, is the connection between the cycle of the year, the Druid festivals of the year, and our age. The particular challenges we face, the particular preoccupations that we have, are often connected with how old we are. There are very particular developmental stages that we go through, and that when we're in our 60s, we're not as preoccupied as we were with certain things as when we were in our 20s, and so on. And so part of the skill of steering our way through life lies in recognizing the particular life stage we're in and really opening to the challenge rather than fighting it or being in denial or unconscious of it. And this is where something interesting happens when we work with the festivals. Because, of course, I guess probably everyone will know the way in which the cycle of the seasons has been connected with the cycle of life since forever. And poets in particular, it's a natural thing to think about youth in the springtime and old age in the autumn. But the interesting thing is it's more than just a poetic analogy, I think. And what Druidry does is it takes us deeper into this relationship and allows us to really plumb the depths of this relationship and work with it. And so if I just take you around the wheel of the year very quickly, we've got Imbolc, the season that we're just moving out of, that began roughly a month ago, beginning of February, which is the time of birth and of young children, tiny babies really. And then you move around to the spring equinox, which is the time of young children, let's say 5, 6, 7, 8. Moving around to Beltane, 1st of May, where that's associated with very young adulthood, move from puberty into adolescence, and then to the summer solstice, which is associated with the prime of our lives, really, our early, in say our 30s, mid-30s to 40s, and then we're starting to shift to that rather nice time of maturity, so moving from our sort of 40s and 50, where we've hopefully matured to some degree and are freed of some of the inhibitions and constraints involved with youth and so on, and immaturity. Moving around to the golden years, the autumnal equinox, and then moving to Samhain, the time of death, where we actually let go of the physical body and and that's when we honor our ancestors. And then you have the interesting time of the winter solstice, which you can either leave for our time in the spirit world before we're incarnated, between incarnations, or you can associate that with conception and then with birth at Imbolc and so on. So you see the way it goes round in a circle. And at the moment, of course, like a hologram, each of these phases of life is present in us at any time. So I always remember, people talk a lot about the inner child, but I remember when I was young, being aware of the inner old person. There was a part of me, and I've talked with lots of other people, and other people have this experience too, of even when they were young, they sensed an inner old person inside them. So we have within us an aspect of our identity which resonates with each of those 8 times in the year. There's a part of us that feels perhaps detached in the other world, that still point of light, that pole star, which is associated with a winter solstice. There's a part of us that feels really childlike, baby-like at some level. Another part of us that feels like a young kid. It's sometimes out of our depths in this rather frightening adult world that we find ourselves in sometimes. Sometimes we feel like an adolescent, clumsy and clunky and driven by our desires, and so on. And so let's look at the particular phase we're in now, because we're really between Imbolc and Alban Isla, the festival of the spring equinox. So this is the time of the child, the young child, that lovely age, lovely if you like, if you've had a good experience of kids, say from 5 to 10. And the weekend I met someone who has written a book, which is just superb, along with some colleagues. Anna Richardson, who lived in our little gnome house in the garden with her little baby Oren and husband, partner Matt, for several years. And it was a pleasure having them in the garden. And Anna, some of the Druidry rubbed off on Anna. And she's also involved in the Steiner School. She works in the Steiner School. But is very committed to the forest school movement, which a number of members of the order and Druids are involved in. A fantastic movement of getting children in touch with nature and particularly with trees. And so Anna's created this wonderful, substantial book called The Children's Forest, together with colleagues Dawn Casey and Helen Dascoli. And the reason I want to show it to you is because they work precisely with this idea. This is a book for people who have children, people who work with children, people who are running forest schools, people who are teachers. But guess what? They use the cycle of the year and the seasons and the eightfold festival wheel to help connect children with the natural world. And this is, I think, one of the beauties of the eightfold wheel. And in fact, one of the beauties of Druidry, which is why in the order, we tend to resist people thinking of Druidry as a religion. I mean, if you want to think of it as a religion, that's absolutely fine. And there's absolutely no problem with that. But the difficulty with thinking of it as a religion is that then you've got the whole issue of, are you in or are you out? Are you a follower of that religion or are you not a follower? And I think it's often more helpful to talk about Druidry in terms of a way of life, a philosophy, a culture even. And then you can share it with people. And it doesn't matter whether their religion is non-religious, i.e. they're atheists, or they are Buddhists or Christians or Jains or Taoists or whatever. This is the approach that the book is taking. And what she does is what they do is there are songs in the book as well by River Jones. River does our wonderful courses in celebrancy online, training people to create and lead funerals and weddings. River has created songs here as well. And I was looking at the exercises. There are all sorts of things for the kids to do. And I was looking at the Imbolc imaginary journey that's there. And I thought, let's do it together. We don't have to be children in physical age to be able to work with this. And you'll see straight away, it's so much like what we do. And so let's go into our meditation now. And I'm going to begin it before I read from the text. I'm just going to start in the usual way that we do with these meditations, which is really to allow yourself to become fully present to being wherever you are. So here you are in front of your screen. And the invitation is to just keep that awareness, but also perhaps close your eyes, although you don't have to, just to become aware of coming into the sacred grove, coming into a clearing in the forest. You might imagine yourself moving through the trees. And it's wintertime. You're moving through the trees and you find that there's this gentle snow that's falling. And there's snow on the ground too. And you become aware of the trees around you. And you sense the way the trees are rooted deep in the earth, stretching up, and then their branches and boughs and all the leaves are out in the grove, up in the sky. And you sense the protection and the power of the trees, their presence around you, our brothers and sisters, the trees, firmly rooted in the earth, but connected with the sky. And you look up at the sky above and you notice whether it is night or day. You see the snowflakes tumbling down gently. And you breathe in the energy of the sky. The energy of the sky flows into you. And then you look down at the snow-covered earth. And you just allow yourself to close your inner eyes and to imagine now that you're curled up, sleeping deep in the earth, burrowed into the earth, under the snow. And just allow that feeling of being close to all the life in the earth, all the creatures in the earth, and all the energy of the crystals and the minerals and the soil, bringing you energy. And you've been curled up sleeping, and you can sense this pure white snow above you. And then you feel from within yourself, and at the same time outside of yourself, the excitement of life stirring from a long winter sleep. Just notice how subtle and beautiful that sense of life stirring. It's almost impossible to define it, but you can feel it in your body and in your soul. This life stirring from a long winter sleep. And as you lie very still, you notice the tingling feeling of aliveness within your body. And you're only just beginning to wake up. You're at the crossing place between dreaming and waking. Your dreams are still bright within you. So lie still and look inwards to see them. Bring to mind the special dream you once had. What did you see in this dream? How do you feel when you remember that dream and bring it to mind? The tide is turning. The sap is starting to rise up from its sleepy depths, pulling with it nourishment from deep within the earth. Imagine now the sap rising up from your toes to the tips of your fingers and the top of your head. So just sense that flow of energy from your toes, up your legs, thighs, trunk of the body, up to your scalp, the top of your head. Beneath you, within the earth, the seeds are awakening like hundreds of stars bursting with life in the dark. Life is awakening. Now imagine slowly you're emerging out of the earth, back into the sacred grove. Sense life awakening in the forest around you, in the sacred grove around you. Open your arms wide to welcome this life. And then, with love in your heart, gradually allow your awareness of the sacred grove to fade as you become aware of being seated in front of your screen. And as the sacred grove fades, so you become more and more aware of being here now, sitting here now. And when you feel ready, you open your eyes. And so I hope you enjoyed that. And Anna and her co-authors have created exercises like this for each of the festivals. So you see here in this book, Druidry in action for young people. It's just lovely. So there's something more behind this book, which is a lovely, lovely vision. And again, if you're immersed in spirituality and work immersed in the magical arts or magical understanding of life, you know about the importance of intention and of visioning too, and how you start off with a vision connected with your values, deep values that you hold, the change that you want to see in the world. You express that, and then that's the way that it gets manifested in the outward world. And Anna and her friends have started to do this. And I think this is very appropriate, not only because it's the time of year now between Imbolc and Alban Isla, but also because children now on Earth, with the tremendous example of Greta Thunberg, are turning around to adults and saying, hey guys, look, come on, get real. Look at what's happening. Stop still playing your games of greed and money making, and realize that you need to get your house in order, and we need to start respecting the earth. And so what the vision is that Anna and her friends have is our vision. Imagine our land in the future, ancient woodlands where trees can grow in peace, filled with birdsong in spring, humming with insect life in the summer, abundant with colorful mushrooms in the autumn, while badgers curl up with their cubs in the winter roots. This place is a safe haven where our children's children will play. May this vision inspire children to plant and tend forests in connection with the forest school movement. Imagine children of the future thriving in ancient forests that we planted in our lifetimes. Imagine a healthy, abundant, living world for many generations to come. And what they're doing is that's the vision, and they're putting it into practice by starting a trust and a movement to get young people, to get children planting book with adult supervision and funding and care and all that, but creating children's forests all over the world where the children plant the trees, study the forest, take care of the forest, meet in the forest, learn in the forest, grow in the forest together. And I think that's a beautiful, beautiful vision. And the Order wholeheartedly supports that vision. And we're going to help it as much as we can. Christopher White says, the best time spent with my father was the time we spent in the woods and forests. I learned more about life from those days than anything I did at school. And that's exactly it. Get the children into the forest and get them creating forests and taking ownership of the forests and caring for them. So there you have it. I'll give a link to this book. So if you have children, if you work with children, if you just want to support their vision, this is the book for you. The Children's Forest in the Obod bookstore. It's published by hawthornepress.com. And well done, Anna and Dawn and Helen, for creating that, and River too for her lovely music in there. So thank you for being here as ever. So have a lovely, lovely week, and many, many blessings and much love. Au revoir.
Stay connected and join us again soon for more magical insights.